Hello everyone, this is Shubham and along with me Nitin Saray, and today we are going to discuss about 2020 prelims. And in this, since last discussion you have already seen, like, it was taken by Dipin sir and Ayush sir, and in this section we'll be covering science and tech, environment, geography and IR. So these four topics we'll be covering, and we'll be discussing every aspects, and few students have, not few, just many students have issues regarding answer key and everything. So all these issues and queries and all these confusions we'll be discussing in this session. So I welcome you all on Forum IAS. So let's begin our discussion of science and tech first. So Nitin sir.
All right, Shubham sir. So we are covering science and tech first.
Okay.
And let's take it from, since we are covering it from the set B.
Okay.
And the first question itself is from science and tech. So first of all, I'd like to ask you, what is the overall impression on this section, the science and tech section? What is the overall impression?
See, but this, what I personally feel, it was a very welcome change this year, because slowly science and tech and environment, which should have been a conceptual thing, it was somehow it was degenerating into the form of current affairs. They were asking random current affairs question without asking what concepts and general science, which they were asking actually during the era of 2012, 13 and 14. But slowly it got degenerated. That respect has been reinstated. And again, science and tech has evolved as not just a petty current affairs topic, but as a conceptual understanding, which I personally believe, and it is quite respectful as well. So, सही है, अच्छा था इस हिसाब से.
It has taken a considerable amount of portion in the paper, and what we can take out from here is that we can no longer depend on just a year or two current affairs for science and tech. We have to take maybe a 4 or 5 years of average on science and tech for long-term conceptual topics that we have to cover.
Yeah, but like if I take my, if I personally, by my personal suggestion, so like you have to, for upcoming papers, you have to study some conceptual topics like what is genetic engineering, what is nanotechnology, what is cells, and what is different type of diseases and modification of genes and everything, transmutation, genetic mutation, all these things you have to study again. You cannot just rely on just like current affairs topic, and you can like easily walk through this paper. You have to go backwards and you have to study these concepts.
All right. Not taking much time, let's start with the question itself.
Okay.
We'll go with the first question. It's on nanotubes, carbon nanotubes. So it's a statement-based question. It says that the first statement says that they can be used as carrier of drugs and antigens in the human body. Second statement is that they can be made into artificial blood capillaries for an injured part of human body, and they can be used as biochemical sensors, and they are biodegradable.
See, if I carbon nanotubes, if you study about carbon nanotubes, so they are tubular, single layer tubular carbon structure. Like if it is a planar structure, then it is called graphene, and if it is in the form of tube, then it is called carbon nanotubes. So it has got some tremendous properties, like it can be used as a good conductor or superconductor, or maybe all these characteristics are given. So, you will not read about carbon nanotubes anywhere which is related to drug delivery, or which is, because basically we study about nanobots related to drug delivery and all these things. But still, what I think, whenever there is some upcoming technology is there, some futuristic technology is there, it has got unlimited potential, right? So it can have all these different dimensions, and it can fulfill different aspects. Maybe it might be not fulfilling it at present point of time, but since it is an evolving technology, then it can definitely do. So what I personally believe that all these four answers should be right. That this carbon nanotubes can help in drug delivery. It can have artificial it can work as artificial blood capillary. It can also act as a biochemical sensor.
Yeah.
ठीक है, and it can also be a biodegradable. Up till now, research has been still going on related to whether it is biodegradable or not.
Yes.
But still, science is always
and-
evolutionary.
And I believe there was a news in Hindu itself that the carbon nanotubes are being used for drug delivery system in cancer treatment actually. So it has become a very revolutionary kind of a change in cancer treatment. And if, say, a student does not know all the answer, or he or she is confused between some statements.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how would you approach this answer?
So as I've already told, ki, if there is any confusion related to any evolving technology, whether it is a nanotechnology, whether it is genetic technology, whether it is a artificial intelligence, or any futuristic technology is there, it has got unlimited potential. It can have any sort of application which is good for humanity.
Yeah.
So any statement can be right.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense. Shall we move on to the next question then?
Yeah, definitely we can.
All right. Can we have the next question? Yeah. So this is about the drone technology that we have, and it's also a statement-based question. So it's
Okay.
asking about the various applications which we can have on drone technology. So again, what approach that we can we apply on this?
See, if we take about the first statement, like spraying pesticide on a crop field, already it's been
Correct.
yeah, it's been in practice. Inspecting of the craters of active volcanoes, that is also very normal practice that can be done. So ये जो starting के दो points हैं, that is quite simple. So anyone can do. But again, the problems may pile up in our mind because
correct.
self-doubt होता है.
Yes.
After if like 2-3 attempts, if we are failing, then
Yeah,
always there is a scope of self-doubt. So we try to overthink and we try to read between the lines and we try to think
Exactly.
UPSC is fooling about us, or maybe there is some catch in this question paper. But see, UPSC never try to manipulate your mind or try to play a trick with your brain. It is simple. This is the drone technology, and all these things can be done. See, collecting breath samples from spouting whales for DNA analysis, that can also be done. Many research are already there, and actually it is quite old. In 2015 and 14, scientists are trying to take samples of these whales through their spouting whales, like that whale when it comes out of the water and it tries to breathe it out and everything.
Yeah.
You might be knowing that whales
Yes,
don't
yes.
have gills; they have to take air from they have to take breath from the air. So this is these all three options should be right. So my personal suggestion and my personal opinion, with the student, don't try to have a self-doubt or don't try to overthink in paper. Always try to understand. UPSC का जो paper होता है, it is always made for first attempt वाला student के लिए, ठीक है? तो वो first attempt वाले student के हिसाब से ही you just try to think. वो उसकी simple thinking process होती है. That's why what we call it beginner's luck in UPSC.
Yeah.
ठीक है कि हम आते हैं और प्री निकल जाता है, जो 3-4 साल से हो रहे होते हैं उनका नहीं निकल पाता. Why it is so?
Correct.
Because you have simple thought process when you are young in this exam, and your thought process continuously become complex and complex as the years pass. So you try to overthink and you try to manipulate things. तो ये problem हो जाती है. What I personally believe. तो इतना नहीं सोचना है, एक नाइव लॉजिक के साथ चीजों को कलेक्ट करना चाहिए और उसी हिसाब से करना चाहिए. मुझे ऐसा
ओवरऑल इट्स अ वेरी सिंपल काइंड ऑफ अ क्वेश्चन अनलेस अ स्टूडेंट इज ओवर एनालाइजिंग इट.
हाँ, ओवर एनालाइज करेंगे तो फिर देयर कैन बी सम इश्यूज रिगार्डिंग इट.
Yeah.
तो तीनों इसका होना चाहिए.
Alright.
Question number 3, should I read it for you?
Yeah. Okay.
The experiment will employ a trio of spacecraft flying in formation in the shape of an equilateral triangle that has sides 1 million kilometers long. With laser shining between the craft, the experiment in question refers to Voyager 2, New Horizon, LISA Pathfinder, or Evolved LISA.
Okay, so this was also a very kind of easy kind of a question. This has been in news for quite some time now, almost
Yeah.
3-4 years. This has been in news.
And these all four option,
Yeah.
these all four options has been they have been asked in previous years questions. Like
Correct,
Voyager,
correct.
they have already asked. New Horizon, they have already asked. Lisa, they have already asked. But Lisa, Pathfinder, Evolved Lisa,
Yeah,
they have.
yeah.
It's a new addition in this.
So
paper.
the trick here is that students might see in current affairs how we read it is in the form of ELISA actually.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they have expanded it to become
Evolved Lisa.
Evolved Lisa. So student might get confused there.
Yeah, yeah.
So Evolved Lisa is nothing, but if we have to measure say gravitational force due to higher frequencies, so they need a larger interferometer, right? So they have to do it in space. So that is how it is. It's a very easy kind of a question actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, chaliye, moving forward to next question. Next question.
All right. Next question is it's also from science and tech only, and the question says it's a statement-based question which says genetic changes can be introduced in cells that produce eggs or sperms of a prospective parent. Second statement is the parent's genome can be edited before birth at an early embryonic stage. And the third statement is human-induced pluripotent stem cells can be injected into the embryo of a pig.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, this is related to, this question is related to pure biotechnology topic.
Yeah.
So before moving forward, I would like to give a brief introduction about what is human-induced pluripotent stem cells.
Yeah.
So there are different type of cells. One is totipotent, the cells which are taken from the embryo, they are called totipotent because they can take any form. Okay? And few are multipotent, which can, those cells which can take different type of forms, like you might be understanding what I'm trying to tell.
Yeah, yeah.
कि एक सेल है, सेल इज जैसे हमारे हाथ जैसे हमारी आँख की सेल है, तो सेल ऑफ आवर आईज आर प्रोग्राम टू multiply as a cell of an eye. It cannot multiply as a cell of a liver.
Yeah,
ठीक है?
yeah.
So what happened? But embryo is a single cell,
Correct,
very when it is in a very preliminary stage. But it is able to develop into heart, it is able to develop into lung and everything. Like a single cell can develop into many forms. So that's why it is called totipotent. But human-induced pluripotent, when through genetic engineering, we are able to program a cell so that it can develop into different things. Then it is called induced pluripotent stem
Correct.
cells, right? So again, this question is futuristic. This question, and it is not very assertive about anything. It is just saying it can be. ठीक है? So try to understand. It is a futuristic technology, and futuristic technology, and it is also saying कि can be, हो सकता है. तो होने को कुछ भी हो सकता है. ठीक है? तो
And again, UPSC has tricked by expanding something here. IPSCs have been in news, right? IPSCs is a common term used in among students, right? It's a hot topic in current affairs. But since they have expanded it, so many people might not be able to relate to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
These things happen. ऐसा मेरे साथ कई बार हुआ है. Like in 2014, what happened? They asked about Mahabalipuram. I was sure about ki Rath temple are there in Mahabalipuram. They asked Mamallapuram.
Yes.
So I got confused कि Mamallapuram कैसा है.
Yeah. Yeah.
ठीक है.
All right. Moving on to the next question now.
So D will be the right answer for
Yeah, D
this
will be the
question
right
number
answer,
4.
correct.
ठीक है.
The next question is on the PVC vaccine. It's pneumococcal conjugate vaccine in India. So this was somewhat in news, not very recently, but they have asked a question on this nonetheless. So it's also a statement-based question which says the vaccines are effective against pneumonia as well as meningitis and sepsis. Dependence on the antibiotics are not effective against the drug-resistant bacteria. And the third statement is it has no side effects.
So see, this pneumococcal conjugate vaccine, I think this is the latest entrant into this mission Indradhanush. I think
Yes,
this is the
yes,
latest
yes,
vaccine.
exactly.
That's why this question came up. So see, so this vaccine is effective against pneumonia as well as meningitis and sepsis. ठीक है, okay, we can understand since it is a government initiative, then definitely generally what I think कि अगर सरकार का कोई initiative है, then always it is asked in a positive frame of mind. So this single vaccine can like 3 different diseases. So it is a positive thing about this vaccine. So
Yeah.
this I'm talking about guesswork, right? तो ये पहला वाला point सही हो सकता है. Second is dependence on antibiotics that are not effective against drug-resistant bacteria can be reduced. So this is also a positive statement कि ये ऐसा कर सकती है. Yes, it can do. But third statement is very assertive that it has no side effect and it cannot cause any allergic reaction. So that is not right because any vaccine can cause allergic reaction. Even if you talk about polio vaccine, so most of the like oral vaccines sometimes they themselves can cause polio because vaccine होता क्या है? Vaccine is just a weekend microbes ही तो होते हैं. So sometimes they can cause a different reaction or maybe opposite reaction. So 1 and 2 will be the right answer. B shall be our right answer for question number 5.
All right. So the next question in science and tech that we have is on public key infrastructure. And,
Public key infrastructure. Okay.
Yeah. So it's also a pretty simple kind of a question. Has been in news for some time.
What's your take? What should be its right answer?
So public key infrastructure is basically used in digital signatures, right? So we have public key and private keys which are used to sign a document digitally, right? So digital signature has been asked before also in prelims, but they have not delved into the nitty-gritties of it. This time they have. It's also not called a nitty-gritty though. It's the second major word you'll find in a digital key infrastructure. So
like digital security infrastructure is public key infrastructure.
yeah.
Very like startling revelation for me. I was thinking it should be healthcare and education infrastructure. Like they are the most basic social infrastructure which a government can provide.
Yeah.
I was thinking of this. I never read it about public key infrastructure is it connotation is a digital security infrastructure. So what like all these like internet connectivity, optical fiber, all these comes under these the same thing? Or
If we
just
have
only?
to sign a document digitally, right? So they have a public key and a private key, right? So somebody signs their document with a public key, sorry, their own personal private key. So it can be verified through a public key, which is a derivative of that public key itself, right?
Okay.
So that's how it works. But we don't have to know about the details of it. But just UPSC has this habit of asking, this term is associated with what field, right? So this comes under that category. Overall, I would categorize this as a very easy question.
हाँ, this is
Right,
factual question.
so,
जो जिसको पता
yeah.
है उसके लिए है, नहीं तो मैं
Yeah,
तो वही
yeah.
सी मार के आता है एग्जाम में. Okay, moving forward to question number 7.
Yeah.
Very mundane, very rudimentary and equally tough because बहुत पहले साल पहले पढ़ा था बचपन में 6वीं 5वीं क्लास में plant cell और animal cell के बीच में difference. They have asked about this difference between plant and animal cells. So I would read it out for you. The plant cells have cellulose cells, cell walls, while animal cells do not. Plant cells do not have plasma membrane unlike animal cells which do. And third is mature plant cells has one large vacuole while animal cells have many small vacuoles.
Yeah. So this is actually a very simple kind of a question, which answer to which can be found in NCRTs, science NCRTs. They are easily available. And in UPSC preparation, I think more or less everybody goes through the science and tech, science NCRTs actually. So it's clearly mentioned there. Most of the students have told me that they have had issues with the plasma membrane statement actually. So and statement 1 and 3 have been fairly simple. Everybody kind of knows about it. And plasma membrane is a bit tricky, but it is also clearly mentioned if somebody reads NCRTs quite nicely. So they'll find the answer there. And the correct
So
answer.
what you suggest like for next year student they should be reading all these NCRTs and everything?
NCRTs is
General science is it
general
advisable?
science, yes. So it is very compulsory kind of.
But cost benefit analysis, can you throw some light on cost benefit analysis? Like 1 or 2 questions they might be asking about general science.
So
Suppose a student has to read all about blood circulation system and
yeah.
reproduction system. This is called ovary, this is called superior vena cava and inferior vena cava and all these heart has 4 chambers and all these things.
See, more or less everybody has gone through school and everybody is more or less aware of what the general idea about it is. Most of the people have maybe forgotten some bits, right? So they just have to brush up their NCRT knowledge. So I believe a couple of readings won't hurt. UPSC can surprise you in ways by asking very basic questions. So this is one of them.
Okay.
And And statement 2 here is wrong, and the answer would be C.
Okay, see. Next question, question number 8, right? So, should I read it for you?
So question number, we'll go for.
Acha, science, okay, we have to
17.
discuss science and tech, right? So, question number 17.
Yeah.
In the context of recent advances in human reproductive technology, pro-nuclear transfer is used for. The first is fertilization of eggs in vitro by donor sperm.
Yeah.
Second is genetic modification of sperm producing cells.
Yeah.
Third is C is development of stem cells into functional embryos. And D is prevention of mitochondrial disease in offspring.
Yeah.
So the right answer of this should be the D one, right?
Correct,
The mitochondrial
correct,
disease.
Correct.
And see, this is not related to current affairs because I don't consider anything as a current affair जो 3 साल पुराना है. This mitochondrial ये आया था, this designer baby का जो concept है या जिसको
Three
हम
parent baby,
three
वो
parent
भी
baby
I
की
think,
बात
yeah.
करते हैं. तो this is quite old, 2017
16 के आसपास.
16-17 में
Yeah.
this was. So इसका take away it should not be like कि अभी आप क्या करो कि 4 साल का current affairs पढ़ने लो. That should not be the basic idea. If you still read तो होता क्या है ना कि 2 साल 1 साल कोई टेक्नोलॉजी पे काम चला है तो वो करंट अफेयर्स में थोड़ा बहुत आती रहती है.
Correct.
ठीक है, हो सकता है उतने इट शुड नॉट इट मे नॉट बी एज हाईलाइटेड एसेंचुएटेड बट स्टिल इट विल कम. सो my personal suggestion to the student that it should not be like कि if any questions come 3 साल पुराने या 4 साल पुराने current affairs से तो you start reading 4 years of current affairs. 1 or 2 max to max 2 years of current affairs are enough because we have a very limited capacity and our brain have some limitations, so we should be respecting it. We should not, I think, over expand things which will not, because current affairs will not help you any further. Like
Correct.
this attempt on it is not a based on concept or anything.
And
that
Shubham sir, if we look at the kind of questions that they've asked, so in these questions also there have been previous questions asked by UPSC itself in prelims, right? So three parent baby was in question, digital infrastructure was in question. Then we have a question on visible light communication, right? Li-Fi was in
Li-Fi was
already
same
a
name.
question. We have Lisa was already a question.
Already
so
a
these are
question.
broad concepts which are, and blockchain was also a question.
Blockchain was also a
previously.
question.
So these are broad concepts which UPSC is already asked, right? So
Yeah.
the student has to be aware of what
वही
technology
मैं
is
तो
about,
in every
right?
class I suggest to my student like कि कम से कम पिछले like past 10 years 10 साल के पेपर you should be solving, not just solving like इसका what should be the
Correct,
right answer.
correct.
You should be researching on those topics. You should have lateral knowledge on those topics. ये
Correct.
मेरे कहने का मतलब
Correct.
कि अभी जैसे नालसा they have already asked, ठीक है.
Yeah.
नालसा they have already asked, तो अभी what they did कि नालसा का अभी थोड़ा specifics में they went.
Correct.
They asked about कि transgender के लिए what should be the bit specific. The topic was
Yeah.
same. They went थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा.
Correct.
Biochar again, biochar
Biochar
topic
is
was
also-
a
yes,
repeated
yes.
one. And
Yes.
many question. Barasingha. Last time they asked about
Correct.
whether Barasingha is a critically endangered or not. They have again asked Barasingha कहाँ पे
Yes,
मिलता है.
yes.
So the questions are same. Maybe the context they may change.
Correct. All right. So the question number 17, the answer is D. Then we'll move on to the next question now. Question number 18, right? It's about artificial intelligence again. It's a very well-known science and tech topic. They have asked a very broad-based question on this. So they are asking how can, in the present state of development, how can AI be effectively be utilized in the following: bringing down electricity consumption, creating meaningful short stories and songs, disease diagnosis, text-to-speech conversion, and wireless transmission of electrical energy.
See, there is a tie between, or you may say there is a debate between B and D.
Yeah.
One school of thought is saying कि since it is given present state of development,
Yep.
it is not like a sweeping statement what artificial intelligence can do.
Can do, yes.
It's not the question. If they would have asked what artificial intelligence can do, then D could have been the, without any doubt, D could have been the right answer. Since they have asked, they have added an additional statement, present state of development, then it raises a hairline of doubt कि एक 3 या 4 भी हो सकता है, like B could be also the right answer. My personal take will be B, but D will also be equally right.
So, what do you suggest to students? Should we take a broader view on these type of questions? Should we
Broader view.
Broader view, right? So
I always suggest take
yeah.
broader view.
So-
Sometimes you may get caught up like, लेकिन वो 10 सही होगा तो 1-2 ही गलत होगा. तो
Yeah.
cost benefit analysis if I वो करे कि हमेशा if you have any doubt तो always try to try to take the broader view वाला thing.
All right. So we'll have to wait for the answer key by UPSC on this one. But going by the broader view and taking the previous answer keys that UPSC has given, they always kind of take broader view on this. So going by that, the answer should be D on this,
Okay.
right? The next question would be, it's on visible light communication. Again, a very well-known science and tech concept, has been in use for quite some time now. Again, a statement-based question, but the statements here are a bit more tricky in the sense student has to have a very detailed knowledge. It's asking VLC can be uses the electromagnetic spectrum to the wavelengths of 375 to 780 nanometers. VLC is known for long-range optical wireless communication, and the third statement says transmit large amount of data faster than Bluetooth. Fourth statement is no electromagnetic interference. Right?
Okay, since this question has already been asked about Li-Fi,
Yeah.
I think in 2017 or 18 or 17 they have asked about Li-Fi, light fidelity.
Yeah.
So again, ये उसका वही दूसरा नाम है, visible light communication is different name for light fidelity only.
So, Li-Fi is actually an application.
Application of visible light communication. So first statement is right, VLC ये इसका electromagnetic spectrum होता है, and those who are from science background they can understand, and those who are not अभी उतना discuss नहीं कर सकते what is electromagnetic spectrum, but as a fact you can read कि 400 से 800 nanometer.
I will again like to point out that here the science NCERT does help, because
Yeah.
if you look at it, it's a visible light spectrum, right?
Yeah.
So if the student knows what the wavelength of visible light is, so this statement would automatically become correct, right?
Yeah, at least we can eliminate D statement. So the second statement is VLC is a long-range optical wireless communication. No, second statement should be wrong. And VLC can transmit large amount of data faster than Bluetooth. So third will be right. And VLC has no electromagnetic interference. So this is also right, because since it is light, so light is do not have any electromagnetic it does not create any electromagnetic interference. What is interference? You might be understanding कि interference, constructive interference, destructive interference होता है.
Yeah.
And it always when there is some charge is going on, something is passing through something,
Correct.
some type of different type of wave like radio
Creating a
wave
distortion
or
side also.
distortions.
Yeah.
So they are called basically interference. But since this is in the form of light spectrum, so they have almost like no sort of interference.
Correct.
So fourth will be our right thing. And even if you don't know, then we can solve these questions.
Alright, how
ठीक है?
I have that question already. So how do you approach that question if you do not know about say the very detailed nitty-gritties of VLC, right? So how do you approach and get an intelligent guess out of it, right?
See, this third statement I can, third and fourth statement I can give some basic idea. Like, whenever there is some evolving technology, so it is always better than the last wala technology.
Correct.
ठीक है? So if it is asked कि like last time it was like कि Li-Fi is better than Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So Li-Fi, since it is an evolved version of Wi-Fi, not evolved version of Wi-Fi, but it is more advanced, evolving technology. So you can think of, yes, it is, we can say कि yeah, Wi-Fi
Yes.
पहले यूज होता था, अभी Li-Fi आया है तो Li-Fi Wi-Fi से better होगा ही होगा, जैसे 5G
Wi-Fi
4G से better है ही है.
And Wi-Fi is already better than Bluetooth. So
हाँ, तो since Wi-Fi is already better than Bluetooth, and last time it was asked कि Li-Fi is better than Wi-Fi, so it logical corollary तो यही है कि it should be better than Bluetooth.
Correct.
And fourth one again we can say that कि चूंकि it is a new technology, तो new technology है तो वो better होगी. It will always be better than things, and it will be able to bridge those gaps and limitations which was faced by previous technology.
correct.
दैट्स वाई तो इट केम इनटू एग्जिस्टेंस, नो?
Yes, yes, yes.
तो ये बेसिक लॉ होता है कि भाई पुरानी कोई टेक्नोलॉजी चल रही है तो उसकी लिमिटेशंस कुछ होती है, उसको कवर अप करने के लिए कोई नई टेक्नोलॉजी डेवलप की जाती है।
Correct.
ठीक है, तो सिंस लास्ट वाली जो टेक्नोलॉजी थी इट वाज फेसिंग इश्यूज ऑफ इलेक्ट्रोमैग्नेटिक इंटरफेरेंस एंड ऑल दीज एंड लॉस ऑफ सिग्नल्स एंड एवरीथिंग, सो दिस VLC कैन हेल्प इन ब्रिजिंग दोज गैप्स।
All right.
So-
So going by those, the answer should be C here,
Yes.
right? We'll move on to the next question now.
Sure. So let me read it for you. With reference to blockchain technology, consider the following statement. In a public ledger that everyone can inspect, but which no single user control. Second statement, the structure and design of blockchain is such that all the data in it are about cryptocurrency only. Third statement, application that depends on basic features of blockchain can be developed without anybody's permission.
Yeah.
So these three statements are asked and we have to solve this question.
All right. So blockchain technology also has been in news for a considerable time now, and we already know that it's a decentralized distributed ledger, right? So there is no single authority, there is no single owner of the data, right? So it's a distributed ledger. So if we read the first statement, it's a public ledger, everybody can inspect, and with no single user control. So it makes sense, right? Now the second statement is about application of blockchain technology, and we all know that cryptocurrency is one of the application of blockchain technology, right? So the second statement obviously becomes wrong. It's a definitive statement. It becomes wrong. So and the third statement is the applications that depend on the basic features can be developed without anybody's permission. So I've already told that blockchain does not come under any regulatory or authority or something. Some organization does not regulate the blockchain technology. So
This was
anybody can-
asked. This question was asked previously. Like cryptocurrency have no regulation of central bank. Some such type of question was asked.
I think in 2018 or something.
18
they
or
asked,
19
right?
they have asked.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
The same question. See, this
correct.
concept is same. Everything
yeah,
is same.
it's an easy question. Answer should be D here.
Okay.
We can move on to the next one now.
Next one is 68, right? Next one is 68? 61. This is environment topic, I think.
61 is in one.
68 is the science and tech
Yeah,
topic.
68 is science and tech. All right. So the next question is about solar pumps, right? It's also has been in news, but since it is very detailed, students might be having problem with this. The question is statement based. It says solar can be used for running surface pumps and not for submersible pumps. Second statement says solar power can be used for running centrifugal pumps and not for the ones with piston. What is your take on this?
See, again, solar technology is very dear to UPSC. सोलर के बारे में कभी भी माई पर्सनल सजेशन टू ऑल स्टूडेंट कि कभी भी कोई भी शब्द आए तो कान खड़े हो जाने चाहिए बिकॉज इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. बुद्धा, solar technology, these things are always
UPSC favorite.
They can go to any कहीं भी कितना भी गिर के UPSC सवाल पूछ सकती है if it comes to renewable energy in a broader sense and solar in particular and also related to Buddhism and Jainism. They can ask many type of cult and sects and everything. Even कोई जैन को भी नहीं पता होगा कि ये भी सेक्ट उसमें चलता है ऐसा टाइप. तो खैर तो see, it is a solar water pump. Solar energy to is you can use energy in any form. You can run any type of pump, any type of engine, any type of thing. It is just energy, and you can do any type of application for this. You cannot add any condition कि इससे centrifugal pump चलेगा, इससे clutch motor चलेगी, इससे direct drive चलेगी, उससे वो नहीं चलेगी. तो energy है, energy का कुछ भी हो सकता है. बिजली से तो कुछ भी चला सकते हैं. Solar energy भी तो बिजली ही है एक तरीके से. तो उसे सरफेस पंप और सबमर्सिबल पंप में क्या डिफरेंस होता है? सरफेस पंप जो है कम एनर्जी में कर लेता है क्योंकि सरफेस से ही यू हैव टू दैट पंप हैज टू सक वाटर. सबमर्सिबल होता है थोड़ा गहराई से होता है. पर सिंस यू हैव अगर एनर्जी स्टोर्ड है, इफ यू हैव मोर बैटरी एंड एवरीथिंग एंड अगर यू हैव प्लेंटी अमाउंट ऑफ sunshine, then you can definitely use submersible or surface pump. Both type of use you can do.
So how does a student approach this question? I mean,
कॉमन सेंस से कर सकते हैं कि मतलब सोलर कैन बी यूज्ड रनिंग सरफेस पंप नॉट फॉर सबमर्सिबल पंप. मेरे कहने का मतलब ये है कि See, again, it is a technology. Again, you cannot have put some constraint ki this can do this, this cannot do that.
Yeah.
Suppose today, like into 2020, it is able to run only surface pump, not submersible pump. And again into 2025, अगर कोई ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी अगर इसी को इवॉल्व कर दिया जाए एंड they start harnessing it for the submersible pump as well. So again, that answer key of UPSC will become like wrong. You can file a case कि ऐसा ऐसा है कि मेरे को फिर से एक attempt दो.
And also, like you said in the PVC question, right? UPSC likes to take an optimist point of view.
मजबूरी है ना
Yeah,
UPSC की.
yeah.
They don't want कि अभी 40 साल का आदमी आके बोले कि मेरे को attempt चाहिए, मेरा उधर की खराब किया था तुमने, अभी देखो ये टेक्नोलॉजी आ गया.
Correct, correct.
मेरे को अभी एक बार और यूपीएससी में बैठना है तो वो फिर लीगल वो सारे इश्यूज क्रिएट होंगे. दैट्स व्हाई ब्रॉड में तो कह सकते हो ना कि हो सकता है.
Yeah.
यू कैन नॉट फाइट अ केस कि हो सकता है कि नहीं हो सकता है.
So I think same goes for the artificial intelligence.
हाँ, same goes for artificial intelligence as well. Because you cannot assertively you cannot claim UPSC कि ये तो हुआ नहीं है. UPSC can argue in court of law कि अभी हुआ नहीं है लेकिन हो सकता है, अभी देखो इधर रिसर्च चल रहा है.
Correct.
बट लेकिन अगर हो जाए और यूपीएससी ने अगर किसी 4 साल 5 साल या 10 साल पहले की में अगर ऐसा बोला है देन इट्स आंसर की विल बिकम रॉन्ग. तो फिर वो लीगल फिर केसेस हो जाते हैं और इंडिया में लोगों के पास टाइम है. सो दैट्स
So
व्हाई.
we are considering both the statements wrong here, and the answer would be D. We
Yeah.
move on to the next question now.
90 I think, right?
Yeah, 90.
Question number 90.
All right, the question number 90 is probably a new type of field that everybody has explored this time. It's about cyber insurance for individuals. The question is again a very detailed kind of question on a topic which is not very popular, right?
And not very popular because see again this question का अगर genesis की बात करो तो this genesis वही था like 2-3 years पहले ये पूछा था कि if there is some cyber attack तो which are the firms जिनको वो करना है, they have to report like banks को करना है, like private corporate office है, they have to report that incidents or everything. So they have asked like उसी से related. I'm not saying that this question is getting repeated.
Yeah.
The topic was almost like very similar to this.
Correct.
So cyber insurance, if you read more detail about cyber attack and what a company can do about if you are a private entity and you are running some business and suppose there is a cyber attack on you. So what are the things? What are the like remedial action? किसको जाके बताना है? Certain को बताना है, response team जो है उसको बताना है. फिर उसको अगर बचाने के लिए then you can also go for cyber insurance and everything. So these things are already there. तो खैर that just read it out and let me also enlighten about this topic.
So the statement 1 is that cost of restoration of computer system in the case of malware disrupting access to one's computer. And the other benefits are the cost of a new computer if some miscreants willfully damages it, cost of hiring a specialized consultant, cost of defense in the court of law. So pretty detailed, I would say, this one.
Yeah, quite detailed. I read it last night, but still I'm confused कि क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा.
So I was actually trying to find out what the inspiration of UPSC is behind this one, right? And the only thing which I was able to find out was a 2017 or something article of Financial Express. So I believe it has been in news for some while, but it got overshadowed by the abundance of information that we have.
कोई नहीं, कुछ क्वेश्चन छोड़ने के लिए भी आते हैं. I should say.
All right, but talking from a aspirant point of view, if we have to attempt this one, right? So how would you make an intelligent guess on this?
Intelligent guess, we can again apply some logic. Cost of restoration of computer system in case of malware disrupting access to one's computer. तो obviously बात है, insurance क्यों होता है? So that कि आपको you do not face any loss or something like that.
Correct.
So one can be right. फिर again hiring a specialized consultant for minimizing risk, cyber extortion, everything that can also be covered. ठीक है, जैसे आप health insurance लेते हो तो क्या चीज़ें होती हैं कि आपको कोई बीमारी होगी तो आपको सही किया जाएगा. This is already included. And also doctor की consultation, these fees are included in that health insurance. ठीक है. एंड अगेन इफ यू आर फेसिंग एनीथिंग, तो आप कुछ ऐसा अगर इफ यू फेस एनी इश्यूज अबाउट दैट इंश्योरेंस पॉलिसी, देन यू कैन फाइल अ सूट एंड एवरीथिंग. तो दीज थिंग्स आर ऑलरेडी देयर इन जनरल इंश्योरेंस एज वेल, लाइक हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, सारी चीज़ें. तो उससे थोड़ा बहुत जनरलाइज करके कर सकते हैं. बट व्हाट आई पर्सनली सजेस्ट कि अगर ऐसा क्वेश्चन एकदम ही बाउंसर है, then you can like skip such question. There is no point अपना luck आजमाना and karma and all these things, destiny.
Okay. So the answer here is B.
Okay.
And one can make a guess maybe if in statement 2 if they try
Exam
to look
point
at
of
the-
वही है कि
physical damages for companies
Physical damage
may not
वाला
be covered
thing.
in cyber insurance, right? So
ठीक है. 96 question
so
number 96.
we'll move on to the next question. It's 96 in science and tech. It's about steel slag. So steel slag can be a material for which of the following, right? It's a construction of base road, improvement of agricultural soil, or production of cement, right?
Yeah, these three statements are asked. And steel slag. So steel slag is basically, if you talk about steel slag, so steel slag is a byproduct when steel is processed. आपने स्टेनलेस स्टील या स्टील बनाने का जो प्रोसेस है, यू माइट हैव ऑलरेडी रेड इट इन योर साइंस स्कूल के में पढ़ा होगा. सो दिस कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ बेस रोड, बेसिकली दिस व्हेन स्टील इज प्रोसेस्ड, दिस इज एज अ बाई प्रोडक्ट विच इज फॉर्म्ड. सो इस बाई प्रोडक्ट कैन बी यूज फॉर कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ बेस रोड. इट कैन ऑल्सो बी यूज फॉर एग्रीकल्चरल सॉइल एंड प्रोडक्शन ऑफ सीमेंट. ठीक है. If we use this steel slag for the base road, then it will create it will be more provide durability to the road and everything. You don't have to dig soil and you don't have to like इसका जो environmental cost है road construction का, that can be reduced because it's already a byproduct is there, so which you can effectively use here. It can also be used for agricultural soil because some elements are there which can enrich, which can help in improving agricultural soil water retention and everything. So you can use it for agricultural soil, and also you can also use for production cement. So what I see, what I say, then 1, 2 and 3 will be the right answer, right?
All right, yeah. So we'll move on to the next one now. It's a 99th question.
99. Okay.
99th, yeah. So 99th is about coal. It says that coal ash contains arsenic, lead, and mercury. Coal-fired power plants release sulfur dioxide and oxides of nitrogen into the environment, and high ash content is observed in Indian coal.
See, if you have to solve this question, then coal ash contain arsenic, lead, and mercury. So if you read about coal ash, मतलब कोयला जलने के बाद that residual part that is called coal ash, it contains arsenic. ठीक है. Arsenic creates some sort of kidney and all these some, I think some disease name is itai or something like that, or maybe black disease something. Lead also creates some liver and all these heart issues, and mercury is also there. So these are basically part of coal, and when coal burns out, then these things remain. It does not get away. तो ये रहता है coal ash में. These three elements are always there. So first one will be our right thing. And the second statement is coal-fired power plants release sulfur dioxide and oxides of nitrogen. So how you can solve this question? You have to read all the cycles, like nitrogen cycles, carbon cycle, sulfur cycle, phosphorus cycle. All these cycles you should have a very good understanding. Then only you will be able to understand. अब इधर automatically तो इधर से oxide, sulfur और ये nitrogen तो निकलेगा नहीं. How this sulfur and nitrogen came into the coal? Because निकल कैसे रहा है? क्योंकि कोयला जल रहा है. कोयला क्या है? वुड है. वुड के अंदर सल्फर आया होगा. जब सल्फर साइकिल इफ यू रीड, तो सल्फर गेट्स डिसॉल्व इनटू द सॉइल, एंड व्हेन दैट प्लांट absorb those nutrition from the soil, it also absorbs sulfur and it becomes wood, and after millions of years that wood becomes a coal. So it's already captured. That sulfur is already part of that coal. Getting it? So when that sulfur will burn, and it will burn in the presence of oxygen, then sulfur dioxide will be formed.
Correct.
Same way nitrogen is also there. Nitrogen is an essential part of all proteins. ठीक है? तो जो भी प्लांट नाइट्रोजन, आपने देखा होगा नाइट्रोजन फिक्सिंग बैक्टीरिया ये सब होते हैं. प्लांट्स नीड नाइट्रोजन बिकॉज नाइट्रोजन इज लाइक प्रोटीन फॉर देम, फॉर देयर ग्रोथ. So that plant have already nitrogenous compound in it. Getting it? That plant have already nitrogenous compound in it, and when that coal will burn, that nitrogenous compound will get burned, and oxides of nitrogen will be formed, right?
Correct.
The second one will also be right. There is always some genesis, some conceptual understanding is very essential. You cannot rectify all these things. You have to have a good, fair understanding कि cycles कैसे चल रहे हैं, phosphorus cycle कैसे चलता है, how these things are evolving. सेम वे आप पेट्रोलियम में भी सेम चीजें आती है, कैसे आती हैं? बिकॉज पेट्रोलियम इज जैसे कोयला लकड़ी से बनता है, पेट्रोल एंड दीज थिंग्स आर फाउंड बाय मरीन एनिमल्स एंड ऑल दीज स्पीसीज. तो वही जब ऑयल बनता है तो गेट्स रिलीज. अगेन हाई कोल, हाई एश कंटेंट इज ऑब्जर्व्ड इन इंडियन कोल. तो दिस इज वन ऑफ द वेरी बिग ड्रॉबैक ऑफ इंडियन कोल.
I think it's a fairly easy question. Students have had doubts in the statement 1 actually. Statement 2 and 3 are pretty easy. Statement 1, they have had doubts about arsenic, lead and mercury. They were not sure if
I
all
think
3 are present or not.
Fly ash, I think they have already asked question about fly ash.
I think so, yeah.
UPSC have already asked a question about fly ash, and fly ash, and since they have like coal ash they have used, so fly ash basically is a coal ash.
Yeah.
Fly ash not a different thing. So fly ash is a different, basically a coal ash. तो same चीज ही यहाँ पर पूछी गई, ठीक है? तो I don't think there should be any doubt in this.
Correct.
Those who have read, they will be able to
So
solve
we are
it.
going with answer all correct, right?
Yeah, 1, 2 and 3 will
yeah,
be the right answer.
D will be answer correct.
Yeah.
We'll move on to environment portion now.
Yeah, let's move to environment.
All right. In
Environment was plenty, right, this year?
Yeah, environment. They've always been very big fan of environment, right? So this year the questions have been a bit on the tougher side, but application of the existing knowledge we can solve those questions, right?
हाँ,
So-
best thing about environment was again why it was not current affairs based.
Correct.
Because when it comes to current affairs, it defeats the overall purpose of environment. Like reports, indices.
Correct.
There is no point of asking reports and indices. Then every entire paper become current affairs.
Correct.
It is not environment. It is not science and tech. It is not anything. It is just a current affairs. Okay.
Yeah.
Moving to
So environment, the first question is question number 8, right? It's about which of the following are the reasons and factors for exposure to benzene pollution here.
Okay.
They've given 5 statements to this. How would you approach this one?
benzene pollution. See, we need to have a bit of understanding, bit of knowledge about benzene. See, whenever you approach for environment, no, तो pollutants करके there is a topic.
Yeah.
Pollutant is very important topic, ठीक है? तो you should be able to read everything. इसी में pollutants में arsenic आएगा, lead pollution के बारे में आएगा, mercury के बारे में, mercury के बारे में यहाँ पे सवाल पूछेगा, and all these things they will be asking. Getting it? So what I personally suggest कि you should read all these. उसी में you will read about benzene, indoor pollution के बारे में, outdoor pollution, and all these things. So you should read all these pollutants by heart, and their sources are very important. तो ये सारी चीज़ें you can definitely do. तो खैर, if you talk about benzene वही है जो बचपन में we like बचपन में स्कूल में कॉलेज में जो भी है we used to study the same benzene ring. So this is also a part of automobile exhaust, tobacco smoke, wood burning.
Yeah.
ठीक है? Varnished wooden furniture and also products made of polyurethane. So all these 1, 2, 3 and 5, all these will be the right answer.
We'll
So
be taking a broader perspective on this one.
yeah, broader
And,
perspective we can take.
All right. So fairly easy question, I would say. Answer would be D. We'll move on to the next one now. The next one is question number 55.
Question number 55.
Right. So again, they have been a big fan of asking about national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. So this year, the target has been Desert National Park, right? So they have dwelled into the details of Desert National Park. Statement says it spreads over 2 districts. There is no human habitat inside the park, and it has one of natural habitat. It is one of the natural habitats of Great Indian Bustard.
Okay, this Indian Desert National Park, It is situated in Rajasthan, and 2 districts. Quite factual question is there.
Yeah.
So 2 district. Okay, we can move to second part, and then we can see. There is no human habitation inside the park. This is not possible because every national park, ho chahe reserve sanctuary ho, whatever biosphere
Yeah.
reserve, they always have tribals and everything. You cannot just uproot them from any forest and translocate them somewhere else. So human habitation is always there. There is no forest in the entire world जहाँ पे human habitation नहीं है. So second one we can remove. Then move forward to third point. It has one of the natural habitat of Great Indian Bustard. So Great Indian Bustard you might have read, हमेशा ही आता है, very famous. If you are reading about any endangered species, तो सबसे पहले Great Indian Bustard के बारे में you will be able to read. You will be reading about it. तो Great Indian Bustard के बारे में बताऊँ तो सबसे पहले भी आता है, this is critically endangered. It is a state bird of Rajasthan.
Yeah.
And it has its population has quite dwindled. It is not very endemic to India because it is also found in Pakistan, Sindh province and around places. So this third statement is right, second is wrong. So we can remove 2 options, and second is, when the second is wrong, so we will definitely get 1 and 3.
Correct.
ठीक है. तो देखा, like UPSC was not aiming to force a student to know about the districts in which this forest is covered. बस concept ये जानना था कि are you aware, do you have a common understanding कि human habitation park में होता है कि नहीं होता है. तो कोई भी student अगर होगा थोड़ा भी, if you are able to apply your common sense, then definitely you will be able to derive कि नहीं human
It's a very
habitation के बिना.
definitive statement.
हाँ, तो जैसे ही आप second वाला option हटाते हो तो आपका आंसर सीधे सीधे आ जाता है.
Correct.
You don't have to
Correct.
know much.
So, although
about
the
it.
question is detailed, but based on the options they've set, I would say it's a fairly easy question.
Yeah.
Option is B. We'll move on to the next one now. It's 58.
Okay.
Now this one is a bit tricky because they have dwelled into the details of CGWA, right? And one has to know the details of this one to be able to solve it. It says 36% of India's districts are classified as overexploited or critical by the Central Groundwater Authority. CGWA was formed under the Environment Protection Act, and India is the largest underground water irrigation in the world.
See, अगर ऐसे क्वेश्चन को करना हो तो what I personally believe, read first statement. Okay, first statement you may not be sure about first statement, so you can just put it on hold. Second statement, if you're reading, CGWA was formed under Environment Protection Act. So see, India में जो water है, it is classified in 2 categories: surface water and groundwater. So surface water comes under, I think it comes under Water Pollution Act, right? It is controlled through water pollution, if I'm not wrong. Are you aware of it?
No.
No? Yes. So this is surface water comes under, it is regulated. Pollution of surface water is regulated through Water Pollution Act. Okay? But there is a catch. When I was very when I started my preparation, so there was a anomaly. I read it. So अभी मैं question देख के मुझे याद आया कि this groundwater comes under Environment Protection Act. तो UPSC have a habit of asking contradictions. ठीक है. तो जब भी आप पॉलिटी में देखेंगे क्वेश्चंस होते हैं तो दे आर ऑलवेज आस्क्ड ऑन द कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन वाला पोर्शन पे. जैसे लाइक राज्यसभा एंड लोकसभा, दे विल बी हैविंग द इक्वल पावर, बट समवेयर लोकसभा विल बी मोर पावरफुल देन राज्यसभा विल हैव डिफरेंट पावर. सेम वे राज्यसभा एंड लेजिस्लेटिव काउंसिल विल हैव इक्वल, ऑलमोस्ट इक्वलेंट पावर्स, बट समवेयर राज्यसभा विल हैव स्पेशल पावर which is not there with legislative council. So these type of always anomalies and contradictions are definitely asked. तो ये second वाला point will be right, and India has the largest area under underground water irrigation in the world. So yes, India have the largest area under underground water irrigation in the world. I think जो second position पे जो देश है उसे I think we use more than double.
And,
तो
if somebody has been a keen follower of news, this was in news actually. This
Okay.
is not very from the static portion.
Mhm.
So it could have been done.
Basically there is some this notion comes no कि whenever UPSC has some factual things, so it is always almost right.
Correct.
तो ये होता नहीं है. This is not always, it is not like word of God कि factual things are there then it will always be right.
Yes.
So
And based on the Indian conditions, say 36% based on common sense also is a pretty low number, right? So the answer here is B, and we'll move on to the next one now. Among the
61.
following tiger reserves, which one has the largest area under critical tiger habitat, right?
Okay.
So at the term critical tiger habitat, would you like to explain what this one is?
क्रिटिकल टाइगर हैबिटेट आर दोज एरियाज बेसिकली इसमें कुछ उतना जानने की ज़रूरत नहीं है दोज एरियाज विच आर very important for their survival, and they are very essential so that they can it is actually threatened, ठीक है, and it is also at the same time it is also very essential for their existence and their protection. So critical tiger habitat, if you talk about so this is Nagarjun Sagar Srisalam, this is the critical tiger habitat, and again these questions are already asked, उसी को फिर से घुमा के पूछा गया है. I think in 2015 this question was asked, not in the same format but in different format.
Okay.
So they asked about ki, what are these forests which are found at like Nilgiri या ऐसा कुछ forest के around पूछा था. I think in 2014 or 13 में पूछा था. तो again they have asked कि which is the largest tiger ऐसा. तो critical tiger habitat.
Yeah, I think a pretty factual kind of a question. Nagarjun Sagar Srisalam is actually famous for having the largest core habitat for tiger reserve, and that is what they've asked. Answer is C, and I think there's nothing much to discuss here. We can move on from here. Next question is question number 61. It's about Schedule 6 of the Wildlife Protection Act, and so a particular plant species is placed under Schedule 6 of WPA 1972. What is the implication? Right? License is required to cultivate that plant. Such a plant cannot be cultivated under any circumstances. Last two options people have been able to eliminate. It is a genetically modified crop, or such a plant is invasive or harmful. Doubt has been remaining in option A and B. Would you like to clarify the doubt?
See, if we talk about Wildlife Protection Act, then 6 categories are there.
Yeah.
ठीक है. Schedule 1 to Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4, Schedule 5, and Schedule 6. So most important animals, basically, most important animals are kept in this category, ठीक है, like tiger, elephant, dolphins, and all these things. And their priority keeps on decreasing in this format. And one more thing, if suppose any animal which belongs to Schedule 5 has to be killed, then permission has to be culled, will be the appropriate word.
Yeah.
So then permission will be provided by state government.
Correct.
ठीक है, state government will be providing permission, and for rest of the thing Ministry of Environment and Forest will be providing the permission. ठीक है, so this was the basic overview. Let's come to the question. The question about section 6. In this section it talks about those plants which are prohibited to cultivate.
Yeah. These are endemic species basically. That's what they have defined.
Okay.
And so statement A and B.
I thought कि ये मैं कभी ज़्यादा research नहीं किया. I thought कि some psychotropic substance होगा ऐसा.
No, if you look at the Wikipedia, it says the endemic species which are prohibited from cultivation, right? So that becomes a statement which can be argued that is it statement B, is it option A or is it option B, right? When it says it is prohibited from cultivation, right? So one would say why not option B then? Right? The answer is A, but we've taken A because answer option B looks like a very definitive statement,
very
right?
definitive and very assertive statement that plant cannot be cultivated under any circumstances.
Correct.
So that is not generally it is not right कि कुछ भी situation हो, कुछ भी हो, और that plant cannot be
And
cultivated.
I
It can be
actually took
cultivated.
some time to look it up, and actually the wildlife, the warden actually can issue a license if they have to cultivate a particular plant. Right?
अभी पता चल जाए कोरोना का वैक्सीन इस पर्टिकुलर प्लांट में है, उससे उसका पत्ता खाने से तो अभी सब लोग उगाएंगे.
हाँ, और लाइसेंस भी मिलेगा.
लाइसेंस भी मिलेगा. तो अंडर so circumstances things can be amended.
Yeah. So option A is correct in this one, and we'll move on to the next question then. Question is 64. India's national policy on biofuels. Which of the following can be used as the raw material for production of biofuels? Cassava, damaged wheat grains, groundnut seeds, horse gram, rotten potatoes, sugar beet.
See, the policy basic issue about production, those who have read about biofuels,
Yeah.
they can solve this question through थोड़ा सा कॉमन सेंस, क्योंकि बायोफ्यूल्स के साथ इशू क्या था, मेजर इशू विद बायोफ्यूल्स वाज कि इट वाज अगेंस्ट द फूड
Food
सिक्योरिटी,
security issue.
like you are diverting food grains for production of biofuels.
Correct.
So that was the major issue. That's why some amendments were made in the policy of related to biofuels, and only those grains and those things, non-edible stuff can be diverted for production of biofuels now. तो इसमें नॉन ईडेबल अगर आप देखोगे तो कौन कौन सी चीज़ें समझ में आती हैं. सबसे पहली बात तो डैमेज, ये समझ में आता है. सेकंड पॉइंट, ठीक है, जस्ट हैव अ लाइक ब्रीफ व्यू. तो रॉटन पोटैटोज वी कैन से, जो खराब हो गए, इट इज़ नॉन ईडेबल. तो 2 and 5 वी कैन पुट इट हेयर. तो 2 and 5 अगर हम रखते हैं तो वी कैन एलिमिनेट एटलीस्ट one thing.
1 week.
And cassava we can also add here. So cassava, if we add again, we can eliminate this thing. And since horse gram is a edible stuff, groundnut seed is also an edible stuff. So
Correct.
3 and 4 should not be here.
Correct.
3 and
So-
4 should not be here. So 3 and 4, if we remove, then we can get
So basically what
1,
you're saying
2,
is that
5 and 6.
basically what you're saying is that even if we are not aware of the whole list, we can just apply the common sense here based on our current affairs knowledge on what the issue is going on, and we can eliminate the options to get answer A, right?
Yes, definitely that, because it is not possible no कि अभी इसमें अभी if we read about the policy में biofuel तो that is like 25-30 उसमें होंगे.
Yeah.
So it is not and major purpose behind asking this question for UPSC is not demanding कि a student should be aware of all these nitty-gritties.
Correct.
It just demanding from a student, are you aware, do you have basic understanding that like issue क्या है?
Correct.
Are you aware of the issue related to biofuel and the diversion of food crops for the production of biofuels? If you are aware of that major उसका अगर if you have basic understanding, then you can apply your common sense here and you will be able to solve this question, which I personally believe.
All right. So answer is option A, and we can move on to the next one now. It's question number 65. It's about social cost of carbon, right? So how would you define social cost of carbon? Some people have were surprised by this term; they have not heard it before. So
Social cost of carbon is the negative impact of carbon emission on society, because we can say emission of carbon is a necessary evil. Getting it?
Yeah,
Emission of
yeah.
carbon is a necessary evil, and it has got some negative repercussion on society. That is basically us. So that's why the long-term damage done by ton of CO2 emission in a given year, that is called the social cost of carbon. Getting it?
Yeah.
Like, because whatever activity we do, we commute, we go for work, we eat, because whatever we eat, whatever we wear, everything associated with carbon emission, because without emission of carbon nothing is possible.
correct.
ठीक है, we wear cotton clothes for production of cotton, we require water, irrigation and all these things. तो there is a emission of carbon is there. Whatever we eat, उसके production में भी carbon emission है. So that is associated with social cost, because carbon emission is have a negative repercussion on society and human welfare. So that's why this term social cost of carbon is related to long-term damage
Correct.
done by ton of carbon to CO2 emission in a given year.
So it can
that
be
way.
done both ways, is what you're saying, right?
Okay.
Either you can have the knowledge of this particular term, or you can just apply some common sense and maybe make an intelligent guess out of it, right? Answer would be A, and I think we can move on to the next one now. Right. Next one is 92. Right. It's about Indian elephant. So first of all, what made UPSC ask about Indian elephant? And second is they have asked a detailed question on Indian elephant. One has to read a lot about Indian elephant to be able to answer this one. Statements are: leader of the elephant group is a female. Maximum gestation period is 22 months, and elephant can normally go on calving till the age of 40 years. Among the states in India, the highest elephant population is in Kerala.
see, this was, I think, this was in news in Kerala. A woman died, allegedly died by eating crackers. So that because of that topic, this question was, I think, was inspired from the same thing. So if you talk about, see, elephants have matriarchal society. ठीक है, अभी जो देखता है डिस्कवरी या ऐसा नेशनल ज्योग्राफिक तो वो इसको देख सकता है क्योंकि whenever you will see a female elephant is there who is leading the entire group for in search of water and search of different type of habitat and survival things. So leader of elephant is always a female because the elephants have a matriarchal society. So first one will be right, and again first we can guess 2-3 we can अभी छोड़ सकते हैं क्योंकि इतना किसको पता होता है. Among the states in India, highest elephant population is in Kerala. So this you can easily solve through different reports and current affairs. तो ये कर्नाटक में है तो केरल है नहीं, तो this can you can eliminate.
Correct.
तो 4 you can eliminate, तो 2 options you can eliminate. ठीक है, since 1 is right, तो third also you can eliminate, and your answer will be 1 and 2.
Alright.
UPSC is not expecting you to know कि 22 महीने तक बच्चा पेट में रहता है, कितने समय तक वो माँ बन सकती है. This is not the way. You are not some wildlife enthusiast or something. तो if you have basic understanding कि भाई ठीक है ये ऐसा है, केरल में नहीं है जैसा एक हर UPSC स्टूडेंट पढ़ता है, then we can definitely solve this question. I don't think there is much to.
Yep. Okay. We can move on to the next one then. So it's about the protected area located in Kaveri Basin, right? First of all, this question seems to be a bit on the tougher side because one has to be aware of the geographical location of these national parks. One has to be aware of Kaveri Basin as well, I would say. So how would you approach this question?
See, my approach related to this question because every year they ask random national parks related to that Western Ghat and Eastern Ghat का जो tri junction है, that area is very important and every year they used to ask question related to the same thing. So if you have solved previous year's questions and have done your basic research about lateral topics, then you will be able to easily solve this question. The Nagar hole and everything. So this is a factual question related to Kaveri Basin, and you can eliminate option 2. So option 2 you can eliminate, and C will
By
be.
option eliminating statement 2, we can easily get the answer. And I would say, as a general rule, we should be aware of the major national parks and wildlife sanctuaries in detail. We have seen in the case of Desert National Park also, and previously also they have asked a lot of questions based on detailed knowledge.
Yeah,
of national
it
parks,
is. It
right?
is really important. And see what happens with the South India के जो parks हैं, they are very closely packed.
Correct.
So it is not. Sometimes it is not easy to recall everything, and names are also not very familiar. Like we can relate Kanha and all these things because they are separated. Ranthambore is different, Kanha is different, and all these are like adjacent. They have contiguous boundaries and everything. So that's why they need special attention, and all they have some features, good features, some salient features as well.
Yeah.
Some endemic species and all these things. That's why these South India के जो parks हैं, they are important, and just read it by heart.
Eliminating Papikonda, we get option C. We can move on to the next one then. It's a
Next question.
It's a fairly direct, straightforward question. They've given some names and they want you to tell what are these, right? So
मैं होता तो guess ही करता, मतलब ये throat वाला होता है generally, bellied, white bellied vulture,
Yeah.
ठीक है, red heron या red neck,
and I
ऐसा
think
कुछ.
minivets are also quite famous.
अच्छा, minivets.
Right. So,
So
even if you know one of them as
हाँ,
a
तो
bird,
कर
so
सकते
I
हैं.
think it's pretty doable.
So birds, if you are able to guess it, then it's good. If you are able to recall it, then it is even better. So birds will be the right answer for this question.
All right. A part, and then we'll move on to the next one. It's 95. Which one of the following protected areas is well known for the conservation of a subspecies of Indian swamp deer, which is Barasingha, that thrives well on the hard ground and exclusively graminivorous?
See, This question about Barasingha was asked in 2013.
Okay.
ठीक है, 2013 में पूछा था and critically endangered पूछा था. And see, why I always tell my students not to overthink. And what happened? Since I knew कि it is critically endangered and question was asked कि endangered.
Yeah.
So I thought कि ये तो critically endangered है. So since it is critically endangered, it is not endangered.
Yeah.
जो क्रिटिकली इंडेंजर्ड वो ऑलरेडी इंडेंजर्ड है, उसके अलावा इट इज सब कैटेगरी इज देयर दैट इट इज क्रिटिकली इंडेंजर्ड. सो आई ज़्यादा आई पुट एक्सेस थिंकिंग एंड ये सब, तो आई डिड इट रॉन्ग. सो व्हाट हैपेंड, this question was asked in 2013 with a different frame of mind, a different frame of question. So it was asked about its IUCN status. This year they have asked about कि कहाँ पर पाया जाता है. तो इसका जो right answer, it should be the Kanha National Park should be the right answer. Basically this Barasingha is found in Tarai regions generally.
Okay.
So if you talk about Kanha, if you talk about Dudhwa, it is also found in Kaziranga, also some few places, and very minuscule in quantity in Manas. ठीक है, तो मानस में भी है, but since Kanha is there, so you will definitely go for Kanha.
Okay. Okay.
ठीक है.
Right. So after elephants, tigers, Barasinghas, and Great Indian Bustard, we have musk deer here, right? So a lot of questions on these, a lot of on endangered species. The next question is 97, right? It says which of the following are the most likely places to find a musk deer in its natural habitat? So they've given 4 options on that. How would one approach this question? I mean, do we have to remember all the places a musk deer is found?
No, but you should have fair understanding, like musk deer is generally found in hilly areas. ठीक है. If you have this basic understanding कि musk deer are generally found in hilly areas, so you will be able to solve. At least Gangotri you will be able to solve.
Correct.
ठीक है.
Correct.
तो Gangotri, if you are able to solve Gangotri, ठीक है, तो देखते हैं Gangotri करने से क्या क्या हो जाता है. तो you are at least 50-50 now.
Correct.
ठीक है. If you are 50-50 now, then 1, 2
Manas
is
is
common, 1 or 3
eliminated,
you have doubt. Since Kishanpur Wildlife Sanctuary is in Dudhwa National Park, अगर नहीं भी पता है तो Ascot, I don't personally believe कि you should be able to know, you will be able to know, recall Wildlife Sanctuary, Ascot and Kishanpur. तो still, if you are able to eliminate this Gangotri वाला part, तो you will be able to solve this question. ठीक है, तो Ascot and Gangotri, these are right, and since musk deer is in hilly areas, so this both Ascot Wildlife Sanctuary and Gangotri, they are part of Uttarakhand. तो निकल जाएगा इसका आंसर.
All right then. The answer is A part, right?
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next question then. It's 98th. In rural road construction, the use of which of the following is preferred for ensuring environmental sustainability to reduce carbon footprint? Copper slag, cold mix asphalt technology, geotextiles, hot mix asphalt technology, and Portland cement.
In 2012, they asked about bioasphalt. Now in 2020, they have asked about hot mix asphalt and cold mix asphalt.
Yeah, so they've
See,
given both, right? So you have to be aware of them.
yeah, मतलब वही, that's why I always tell ना कि lateral थोड़ी सी knowledge research करनी चाहिए. Since you got the question on bioasphalt, तो next year I am not saying they will ask about the bioasphalt only. They will ask about different
Correct.
genre of asphalt. See, तो again I don't expect कि सबको ये सारी चीजें पता होंगी, but still we can apply our common sense. Environment sustainable, it is there. This word is very important here. So environment sustainability की बात अगर हो रही है तो it will not be Portland cement, because cement have many production process of cement is very polluting.
Correct,
Very
correct.
one of the most polluting industry if you talk about, then it is a cement industry.
Highly energy demanding and all.
Yeah, highly energy demanding, highly polluting,
Yeah.
बहुत ही सारी चीजें. तो we can eliminate C&D from this.
Yeah.
ठीक है. And again, we can also think on these two lines. Hot mix asphalt technology is there. When you will be burning, if you have seen road construction, which is very common sight in India, road construction, they are burning and very black, like black fumes coming out of it. The hot mix जो asphalt technology है, this is not environmentally sustainable. The 4 also we can eliminate. So what we can get is copper slag, cold mix asphalt technology and
All right.
geotextile.
All right.
So A shall be our right answer for this
All right. All
question.
right, we'll move on to the next one then. It's the last question of our section, which is what is the use of biochar in farming? Biochar can be used as a part of growing medium, as a part of the growing medium in vertical farming. When biochar is a part of the growing medium, it promotes the growth of nitrogen-fixing microorganisms. When biochar is a part of the growing medium, it enables the growing medium to retain water for longer time.
See,
Biochar, I believe they've asked before.
they've
right?
asked
Yeah.
before. They have definitely asked before, and that too on the same line, not very different. So biochar basically through pyrolysis process, this biochar is produced. And what is pyrolysis? When you heat something in absence of oxygen, that is called pyrolysis.
Yeah.
So pyrolysis process say we can extract biochar, and in vertical farming you can use biochar. What is vertical farming? You must be understanding. Different stacks are there made, and in these stacks different plants are grown. ठीक है? Since India have a very India is a land scarce country, we can use vertical farming technology so that it will be within the same space we can grow multiple crops. And generally in vertical farming, artificial lights are generally used. ठीक है? So since artificial lights are used and climate is artificially controlled, so in vertical farming we can grow multiple crops and everything. And since we can grow multiple crops, we can boost productivity as well. Khair, so let's come back to the biochar topic. So biochar can be used for vertical farming. There is no harm in using biochar. ठीक है? When biochar is a part of growing medium, it promotes the growth of nitrogen fixing microorganism. ये भी सही है. Biochar is a part of growing medium. It enables growth of medium, retain water for longer time. ठीक है? So these all 3 points will be right. And again, I will tell you, if you're not, it is not possible for a student to read about each and every advantage. ठीक है?
Correct.
ये possible तो है नहीं. So what we can do? We can apply a positive negative approach here. Biochar is a good thing.
Correct.
So it is positive, and since it is positive, it will have all the positive impact.
Correct. So we are
All
taking
the
optimist
positive
point of
impact.
view here.
So since this is also positive, ठीक है? Vertical farming के लिए it will help. It is a positive aspect. Nitrogen fixing microorganism की growth, it is also a positive thing. So positive impact. And again, biochar is a part of growing medium, retain water for longer time. So जितना soil water retain करेगी, it is also a positive aspect. तो all these positive. Since biochar is a positive, तो positive का सारा जितने भी option होंगे, that will go in the same positive connotation. All things will be right. So the D will be our right answer.
All right. We'll start with geography now, right? So the first question in geography is question number 52. It says it's about major minerals. So which one of them are the major minerals, right? So they've given 4 options there. How do you proceed with this one?
See, this question is also a kind of bouncer, I must say. These questions related to major and minor minerals, they have already asked. They have asked in 2013.
Yeah.
They have asked in 2019, just previous years. But it was related to sand and all those things. So they haven't UPSC haven't got to this much depth की bentonite, chromite. मतलब इतना किसको याद भी किसको रहता है. तो खैर फिर भी अगर इसको अगर करना है तो we can eliminate. I think bentonite we can eliminate, and our option will be 2, 3, and 4.
So actually, although one cannot be very sure, but bentonite is a very much known clay in news, right? So if we one have to make an intelligent guess here, clay may not be a major mineral, right? So they can easily eliminate bentonite from this list. I'm not sure how to make an intelligent guess about the other 3. But maybe chromite.
Right?
Chromite makes sense. It has to be a major mineral, right? So if we know these 2, so maybe they can eliminate and make an intelligent guess here.
ठीक है चलो.
And we can come
so
to
2, 3, and 4 shall be our right answer. If we eliminate one, then we are left with D. So, right?
Yeah, D is the correct answer. Yeah.
D will be our correct answer. ठीक है. Brighter. चलिए move on to next question. I will read it out for you, Nitin sir.
Yeah.
Question number 53. This is set B.
Yeah.
So with reference to ocean mean temperature (OMT), which of the following statement is correct?
Yeah.
So OMT is measured up to depth of 26 degrees Celsius isotherm, which is 129 meters in the southwestern Indian Ocean during January and March.
Yeah.
And OMT collected during January-March can be used in assessing whether the amount of rainfall in the monsoon will be less or more than a certain long-term mean.
Yeah.
These two.
So
terms are-
I'll take the pen here. And see, OMT was in news, we can say, because recently, I think in 2018 it was in news. So the monsoon department basically has been using sea surface temperature as their standard technique to figure out what the ocean temperature is. And in 2018 or something, they came out with OMT technique. Because sea surface temperature basically varies according to different conditions. Ocean mean temperature, they take it at a depth, so that gives a pretty standard definition to their temperature settings, right? And it has more or less from 60% of success rate, they have moved on to 80% success rate.
So like through this ocean temperature, they are predicting monsoon or something like that?
Yeah, they are predicting monsoon from this, and and this would be pretty clear from the statements as well. But if perhaps we don't know anything about it, right? So even if we don't know about 26 degree isotherm, although it is true, but if we look at this figure right here, see, which is at 129 meters, so one cannot be very specific about the depth, right, in ocean. So 26 degree isotherm may not be at 129 meters across the ocean, right?
Just way too deep, I
Yeah,
feel so.
yeah, it's very definitive statement. So this statement becomes wrong in that sense, right? And because OMT technique is used in the monsoon prediction, so this statement becomes correct, and the right option is answer B.
Okay. So moving forward to next question. Next question is 56. Siachen Glacier is situated to the east of Aksai Chin, east of Leh, north of Gilgit, north of Nubra Valley. Suppose this is India's map. Do not take any patriotic stance if I miss some nitty-gritty.
Yeah.
So this area is Siachen Glacier, right?
Okay.
So this area is Siachen Glacier, and this is not east of Aksai Chin. Aksai Chin is here, right?
Correct.
So this is west of Aksai Chin. So first one will be wrong.
Correct.
Second, east of Leh. So Leh is somewhere here.
Yeah.
It's
Leh.
again, it's not east of. It's more of northwest, we can say, and north of Gilgit. So Gilgit is this.
Correct.
Gilgit, which is in POK. This is POK Gilgit. So it will not be the north of Gilgit. Almost it will be like east of Gilgit, right?
Correct.
So again, the thing answer will be the north of Nubra Valley. Nubra Valley is somewhere around here. The north of Nubra will be our right answer related to Siachen Glacier.
And I think Siachen Glacier is pretty much in news.
Pretty much,
so,
yeah, it's always
So-
in news and.
So answer D will be correct here, and we can move on to the next question, which is question number 59. It says jet streams occur in the northern hemisphere only. Only some cyclones develop an eye. The temperature inside the eye of the cyclone is nearly 10 degrees less than the surroundings.
Okay, if we talk about jet streams, so I will not be going to explain what jet streams are, but jet streams are there in northern hemisphere as well as southern hemisphere. ऐसा कोई भेदभाव नहीं है कि southern hemisphere के साथ वहाँ पे jet stream they will not be operating there. So first one will be wrong, and only some cyclone develops an eye. So this is right because there was an Amphan cyclone which recently which was in recent news. So this Amphan cyclone, this cyclone lost its eye for a couple of days or 3. So cyclone may develop an eye, may not develop an eye.
Yeah.
Okay? What eye of a cyclone you must be understanding. If I tell you about eye of a cyclone have some salient features like low pressure,
Correct.
okay? High temperature, okay? Calm area, okay? And generally it's same thing. And yeah, so if we have a basic understanding about these eye of a cyclone, basically the center point of the cyclone,
Yeah.
then we'll be able to do it. So third one will be wrong because temperature is not less. Instead, temperature is warm area.
Correct.
Okay, it is warmer than its surrounding. If it is an eye, so eye is surrounded by eye wall. Okay, so this eye will have a very calm environment, but other part of the surrounding areas where cyclone is happening, it will be area of much of thunderstorm and rainfall, very heavy wind and everything.
Yeah.
So these are the salient features. I expect all of you student to read about temperate and tropical cyclone in detail, and also anti-cyclone kya hota hai. These things you should be reading.
It's actually very basic stuff from NCRT. It's a direct question. I think.
It's a direct
Yeah,
question from
and,
NCRT itself.
I think fairly obvious answer here. We can move on, I think. So the answer is C for that, by the way. And we can move on to the next question, which is question 67. It says the crop is subtropical in nature. A hard frost is injurious to it. It requires at least 210 frost-free days and 50 to 100 centimeters of rain for its growth. A light, well-drained soil capable of retaining moisture is ideally well suited for the cultivation of the. Which one is the crop? So fairly basic question, I think.
Very basic.
On the easier side.
It cannot be much easier than this. See, like this question talks about cotton. Cotton is the right answer. And cotton, why cotton is grown in black soil? Okay. Why black soil is suitable for carbon? Because black soil have moisture retaining property. So what happens? Although there is no rainfall, there is no moisture in the environment. Cotton needs moisture in the soil, moisture in the roots, but not in the surrounding. Okay? So only such soil can sustain a cotton plant which can retain water as long as possible. Okay?
Yeah.
So since a black soil is made of clay, and clay can retain moisture for longer period of time, that's why it is grown in black soil areas, and that too frost-free areas. Why cotton is grown more in Gujarat and if we talk about some parts of Rajasthan and Maharashtra, because here mostly the days are frost-free, and rainfall is also in the same region. It is neither too dry nor too heavy rainfall. And the thing I have already talked about, the soil is capable of retaining moisture. So this will be the cotton, because moisture, what happens, the cotton balls may get infested with different worms and insects if there is a moisture, and also they may get spoiled. So that's why it requires sunny area, frost-free areas, and rainless as well. Okay? So that's why
Alright.
cotton is grown in such areas.
All
That's
right.
the basic reason.
Question 67. Answer is A. I think we can move on. The next question should be, I think, 78.
78.
Right? It has gone into a more world geography perspective here, asking which river flows into what ocean? Mekong, Thames, Volga, and Zambezi.
See, previous year they talk about Mekong Ganga cooperation. This time they have, instead of keeping this question into IR, they have converted the same question into geography question. So this time they have asked about the mouth of.
Correct.
Basically flows into, इसका मतलब कि mouth ही बोलते हैं उसको, source और mouth,
Yeah.
mouth ही बोलते हैं. तो Mekong river flows into South China Sea. So this one will be wrong. Thames flows into North Sea. So this one also will be wrong. Volga flows into Caspian Sea. Zambezi flows into Indian Ocean.
Yeah.
So these 2 points will be right. यानी कि 3 and 4. C will be our right answer. ठीक है?
Correct. And I think for anybody who's preparing, so and they might think that how is it that we learn all the rivers? So for that, I would say that apart from Thames, I can remember all the other three being in news somehow, right? Mekong, because of South China Sea and Mekong Ganga cooperation, has been in news. Volga, river has been in news because of the Caspian Sea Treaty, which was recently concluded, right? Zambezi was in news because Victoria Falls dried up recently. So these three have been in news. So it was, I would categorize it as a more of a current affairs oriented question. So the answer would be C, and I think we can move on. So I think
Geography is
that
over, right?
concludes geography, right? So we can move on to the IR part now.
IR part.
Yeah.
Question number 40. Yeah, I will read it for you. Question number 40 talks about different international agreements, and we have to match these agreements with these subject. Ki this agreement related to which subject? Okay. So this is the basic question. The first question is Alma-Ata Declaration. So is it related to healthcare of the people? Second is Hague Convention. Is it related to biological and chemical weapons? Third is Talanoa Dialogue related to global climate change. Fourth is Under 2 Coalition. Is it related to child rights? So these are four.
All right. So these also have been in news more or less since the last, I think, 3 years or so. Alma-Ata Declaration was in news in 2018
Okay.
because when universal healthcare system, we kind of likely progressed there with the Ayushman Bharat scheme, right? So an Alma-Ata Declaration was signed in 1978. So it was said that after maybe 40 years or so, India is maybe nearing to the its commitment to Alma-Ata Declaration. So it's about primary healthcare of the people. So this one is correct. And Hague Convention is actually about child abduction. Has fairly been in news on and off, but was in news. Hague Convention on child rights. So this one is wrong. Talanoa Dialogue was in very much in news. I think 2018.
Yeah, 2018-17. I
So-
read it about.
So that was in news. Under 2 Coalition, I think making an intelligent guess, anybody can guess that it's about 2 degrees Celsius, so related to commitments, right?
Again,
So-
climate change, right?
Yeah. So 1 and 3 would be correct, and the answer would be C,
Okay.
right? So moving on to the next question, I think it would be 74. All right. 74 is about bilateral trade of India with various countries, mostly South Asian. Right. So the statement says value of Indo-Sri Lankan trade has consistently increased in the last decade. Textile and textile articles constitute an important item of trade between India and Bangladesh. In the last 5 years, Nepal has been the largest trading partner of India in South Asia.
See, the question talks about Indo-Sri Lanka trade, and it has consistently increased in last decade. See, it is very rare for relationship between two countries that trade has consistently increased, and most of the time India and Sri Lanka relationship has been not on an evolutionary basis. Sometimes it is in low, sometimes
Correct.
it is high, and which also impact trade. I'm talking about if you're not able to you're not able to recall, or you are not aware of this thing, then you can apply some basic understanding and concepts. So Sri Lanka trade has consistently increased in last decade, like 10 साल से बढ़ता ही जा रहा है. That is very far-fetched reality. So we can think of कि इसको eliminate कर सकते हैं. फिर second is textile and textile articles constitute an important item of trade between India and Bangladesh. Most of the time you must be reading in newspapers like garment industries are shifting to Bangladesh, and all these things are always in news. So ये कह सकते हैं कि yes, textile and textile articles are important item of trade between India and Bangladesh. तो ये मान सकते हैं कि ये सही हो सकता है. And then comes to the third question. In the last 5 years, Nepal has been the largest trading partner of India in South Asia. So that is not possible. Nepal being such a small country, and there are other partners as well, like Bangladesh, which is a very big country in comparison to Nepal. So basically, in last 5 years, Bangladesh has been the largest trading partner of India in South Asia instead of Nepal. So this one also be the wrong one. So B will be our right answer, right?
Yeah, I think most of the students would have reached to between option A and B, right? So this one would be a bit of tricky statement to guess. But I think if one is aware of bilateral relations of India and seeing that it is subject to the political relations of India and Sri Lanka, right?
Yeah.
And there has been political turmoil fairly recent. There has been a political turmoil in Sri Lanka leading to rough patches between bilateral relations with Sri Lanka. So I can make an intelligent guess on this and get that right?
Yeah.
So option B would be correct here. Moving on to the next question, it's about G20.
Let me read for you. Sir, so in which of the following groups are all the 4 countries members of G20? मतलब G20 पूरा 20 देशों का ग्रुप है, G मतलब ग्रुप, तो उसे पूछा इसमें से कौन सा जो ग्रुप है वो सारे इसके G20 के मेंबर्स हैं. तो ऑप्शन इज अर्जेंटीना, मेक्सिको, साउथ अफ्रीका एंड टर्की. सेकंड इज ऑस्ट्रेलिया, कनाडा, मलेशिया, न्यूजीलैंड. थर्ड इज ब्राज़ील, ईरान, सऊदी अरेबिया, वियतनाम. फोर्थ इज इंडोनेशिया, जापान, सिंगापुर एंड साउथ कोरिया.
All right. See, UPSC has this habit of asking members of individual groupings, right? And G20 has become a very important grouping, especially related to global financial crisis and currently that we are the crisis that we are going on. Apart from that, India will be hosting G20 soon, so that becomes an important news again. So how do we get the option correct in this one, right? Argentina was in news because it hosted 2018 G20 summit, right? So apart from that, if we have to go for option elimination, we can easily say New Zealand is not big of an economy to be a part of G20 because obviously it's a grouping of 20 major economies, right? 20 largest economies. So in this, Iran cannot be a part of the because it is going under restrictions, right? In this, Singapore cannot be a part of it because it's a very small economy. So obviously, we can get to a right conclusion here.
Argentina, Mexico, South Africa and Turkey. So A shall be our right answer?
Yeah, A would be a right answer. We can move on to the next question here, which is 85th.
Question number 85. Okay.
It says in India.
Okay.
All right. Moving on to the next question is 85. It says in India, why are some nuclear reactors kept under IAEA safeguards while others are not? Options are some use uranium and other use thorium. Some use imported uranium and others use domestic suppliers. Some are operated by foreign enterprises and others are operated by domestic enterprises. Some are state owned and others are privately owned.
See, in order to solve this question, you should have fair understanding of few things. Like IAEA के बारे में पता होना चाहिए, International Atomic Energy Agency है, which is a specialized agency of United Nations, and its purpose is atom for peace. Basically, nuclear technology should be used for civilian purpose, for energy generation and all other stuff instead of using for military purpose. तो इसको ही ensure करने के लिए IAEA को बनाया गया था. And तो इतना अगर पता है, then that comes to the first statement. Some use uranium, other use thorium. So this is not possible because thorium based reactor are not अभी तक आया ही नहीं. India is not in the 4th stage. India is still in the very nascent of stage of 3rd stage. ठीक है, अभी फास्ट ब्रीडर रिएक्टर में आया. फास्ट ब्रीडर रिएक्टर जो है, दिस इज 3rd stage of nuclear.
Purely thorium नहीं है.
4 stage, right?
Yeah.
4 stage of nuclear reactors. तो we are still in fast breeder वाले में. ठीक है, तो अभी तक उस पे आए नहीं, तो थोरियम वाला तो होगा नहीं, पहली बात ये. एंड अगेन सम यूज इम्पोर्टेड यूरेनियम, अदर यूज, इसको अभी डाउट पे रखते हैं. लेट्स मूव टू सी. सम आर ऑपरेटेड बाय फॉरेन एंटरप्राइजेज, अदर्स आर ऑपरेटेड बाय डोमेस्टिक एंटरप्राइज. तो इंडिया में देयर आर नो फॉरेन एंटरप्राइजेज हु आर रनिंग दिस एटॉमिक न्यूक्लियर प्लांट्स. ठीक है, ये जितने भी न्यूक्लियर प्लांट्स है बेसिकली डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ एटॉमिक एनर्जी के अंडर आते हैं, एंड दिस डायरेक्टली रिपोर्ट्स टू प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऑफ इंडिया. ठीक है, तो स्टिल देयर इज नो FDI, देयर इज नो फॉरेन इन्वेस्टमेंट विच इज बीन ओपन फॉर इन एटॉमिक सेक्टर. तो ये भी चीज़ जो है वी कैन एलिमिनेट. एंड मूविंग फॉरवर्ड टू डी, सम आर स्टेट ओन्ड एंड अदर्स आर प्राइवेट ओन्ड. तो अभी ये भी नहीं है, तो लॉजिकल यही होगा कि सम आर इम्पोर्टेड यूरेनियम एंड अदर्स आर डोमेस्टिक सप्लाईज. तो बेसिकली जो IAEA के सेफगार्ड्स होते हैं वो इम्पोर्टेड यूरेनियम के लिए होता है, सो दैट एनी कंट्री मे नॉट यूज इम्पोर्टेड यूरेनियम फॉर नॉन सिविलियन पर्पस. तो इसी वजह से IAEA का सेफगार्ड लगाया गया है कि अगर आप सपोज इंडिया इज इम्पोर्टिंग सम न्यूक्लियर मटेरियल सपोज फ्रॉम ऑस्ट्रेलिया, तो ऑस्ट्रेलिया से अगर यूरेनियम मंगा रहा है तो कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि इंडिया यूज दैट इम्पोर्टेड यूरेनियम फॉर यूरेनियम एनरिचमेंट एंड फॉर एटॉमिक बम इंस्टेड ऑफ यूजिंग फॉर न्यूक्लियर प्लांट, एनर्जी प्लांट। तो इसलिए आईए के सेफगार्ड का यहाँ पर यूज़ किया जाता है।
Right. So
Which
we
is
can
the right
safely
answer.
arrive at option B then, and
तो
I
B
think
will be
that concludes our discussion for IR and geography as well. And
So, I think we have concluded entire paper, right?
yeah.
Okay. So this was all. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.
Thank you.